So, hello and welcome everybody. Today we'll be discussing on cell biology. This, as exam point of view, is a very important topic to discuss. You see, a human, an animal, a bacteria, a plant, all are made up of a basic simple component is a cell. So, cell is responsible for life in all of the living things. So, let us start uncovering what the cell is made up of. So the first point is cell is a building block. So let's start unfolding what this sentence means. You can see here it is written cell is a building block. What does that mean? So in a body, if you describe, the body has a digestive system, musculoskeletal system, or an excretory system. All these systems are made up of organs which performs the action of that specific system. Say here this is a liver which is a part of a digestive system, and here the bones and muscles are a part of musculoskeletal system, and similarly kidney is a part of a excretory system. But where you zoom inside all these systems, what you'll find they are composed of cells. All of these systems, all of these organs and everything is made up of one single thing, and that single thing is cells. So cell forms the tissue, and the tissue forms the final organ, and that organ together with multiple other organs contribute to form finally a system, and that system finally give rise to a body. So cell is present on everything to constitute a final human body. So that's why cell is considered as the building block. So coming to the definition of a cell, the cell is the smallest structural and functional unit of life. This structural part we have discussed previously. Now talking about this functional part of the functional unit of body, why it is so that say liver performs secretion of bile or bile production, metabolism, detoxification. All of this are the function of liver. So all this process what is occurring inside the liver is given and is performed by cell only. Inside the cell the organelle performs a function, and together the organelle contribute to a particular function of a cell, and that particular function of a cell and that cell contributes finally to a particular function like detoxification. Some cells are specialized in metabolism and some cells are specialized in bile production, and that's how they perform a work together, and finally that will become a work of that organ. So cell is not just a structural unit but also a functional unit here. So that's why the cell is defined as structural and functional unit. So why smallest? It cannot be seen by naked eye, it is a microscopic, so it is also termed smallest. So cell is a smallest structural and functional unit which contains genetic material, DNA, and they can reproduce also, and is separated from the external environment via cell membrane. So looking inside the cell, here these are the chromatin threads here, and these are nothing but polymerized form of DNA here, and these are hereditary material that transfers from one generation to another generation and also controls the metabolism and functional work of the cell. So this is the definition of a cell. These things here, reproduction and separation from a cell membrane from the outer environment, is the most important character of a cell. This is the cell membrane and this is the outer environment, and this cell is separated from the external environment by means of this cell membrane. Now what does that independent existence means? So inside a multicellular organism there are multiple cells which are connected to each other, interconnected to each other, each performing different set of function, and finally we have a body performing complex action. But in independent existence there is a single cell. That cell only performs multiple functions like reproduction, divide, feeding, So single cell performs all this function. One of the most common example is paramecium. You might have heard of this, where a single cell, these are binucleate organism. Single cell has multiple cilia over it, and the single cell is specialized or have all of the enough of equipment which can perform the function of reproduction, division, also feeding, and they also motile. So now discovery of a cell. Can you link up all these images together? This guy is Robert Hooke. He was a very good mathematician, and this guy invented or made this simple microscope where a light was produced from this oil lamp. The water flask and this lens together forms a convex condenser which focus the light on the small specimen which was placed on this specimen holder, and finally that illuminated image was seen by this objective lens, and that focusing screw helped to move the objective lens near or far. Screw was tightened or it was revolved, it can go nearer, like nearer, or when it is revolved on the backward direction anti-clockwise, then it went further. By this means one can adjust the distance between the objective and the specimen and thereby control the magnification. The similar hand lens that we use also work on the same principle. And from here, from the eyepiece, he used to observe, and from this simple microscope he saw this image. So this image is the very popular image you might have seen often. This is an image of a Spanish oak cork. Cork is the upper layer. So what he saw there was tiny compartments. This was dead tissue, so he was unable to see inner cytoplasmic details. Only the thing that remained inside the cork was dead remnants of cell. These are all small barrels or cylinders. What you are seeing here are cells, and these white lines, white lines which forms these barrels are the remnants of cell wall. So ideally he saw a dead cell or the group of dead cell of the cork, and from here he found the idea that there is small compartmentalization or tiny bodies were present which contributed in formation and composition of this cork. This was dead cells. And after seeing this, he finally published his data on a book called Micrographia, or some physiological description of minute bodies made by magnifying glass with observation and inquire thereupon. It was published in this journal or publication of Royal Society. A point to be noted here is he has first observed a dead cell, and sooner, parallelly, a living cell was also observed, and it was observed by these guys. And Malpighi also observed a cell at the same time, and also Anton von Leeuwenhoek saw the cell on the same time, and here Leeuwenhoek saw living cell. But the broad idea of cell and its function and everything about the detailed insights of the cell was published by Robert Hooke. That's why the credit of discovery of cell goes to Robert Hooke, while the Anton von Leeuwenhoek saw living cell, especially like parasite like Giardia, spermatozoa, etc. Yeah, one thing I forgot to tell you about. Some people say that Robert Hooke was the first one to invent the microscope, but it is completely wrong. The first person who designed a microscope was designed a simple microscope, and after Zachary Jensen, several other came up to design a microscope where a lens was kept, and from that lens, several object was seen. And Robert Hooke also did something similar, like he took a cork and tried to explore the using lens what is inside that cork, and finally he stumbled upon this accidental discovery of a cell. Here, Galileo also saw. He made a telescope using the lens long before Robert Hooke, and it was also a type of magnification device which is used to see the planets and very far objects.